All right, so I just want to show you guys a couple of trades that we took today. One being MNQ. We'll look at that one first. Then we'll look at the Amazon. Um, and I want to talk about some states of the SMAs. Why state of the SMAs are so key, right? Um, First, this right here on MNQ, right? So what you see here, I'm gonna flip back and forth from some screens, so just bear with me. But what you see here is we have a narrow state in the SMAs, right? So they're super close together, super close together. Whenever they're super close like this and they're tight like this together, usually a momentum move, an expansion move will come, right? That's what we try to catch. We try to catch the movement, the momentum out of this narrow state. So what we do is we look at, hold on, let me shift this over. There we go. We look at price. I'm sorry, we look at the SMAs like a parent and a child. So the 200 is the parent, the child is the 20. Okay, the 200 is heavier, it's got more experience. It's the parent, the 20 is younger, the 20-year-old, right? Whenever they're close together like this, eventually they butt heads and they don't want to stay close anymore. The kid wants to move out, grow up on his own, and get his own things and do his own thing. We need to catch the move of the kid getting out. That's the goal for us, right? So whenever they're tight and the 20 is near the 200, the child is near the parent. Eventually, the child's going to start trending, drifting away from the parent. When this happens, that's when we take note, right? So this is when we want to find a good entry to travel with this child all the way down. You get the analogy, if that makes sense. Um, so coming from this narrow state, we want to catch this move. So what we did today was we just waited. Once we saw the 20 start to trend down here like this, away from this 200, coming from this narrow state right here. Once we saw this, we wanted to enter short because we thought that it would continue to the downside in the child's journey, right? So after this, so all we did was we waited on a small pullback, which was right here, small pullback. Then we need a color change entry event. So we need a green candle to be immediately taken out by a white candle. The white candle's low. Once the white candle breaks the green candle's low right there, boom, we enter right at the blue arrow. So that's the entry right near that trending 20 because we're hoping we can catch this downside move, right? So right there we enter and immediately the trade goes our way. As you can see, we don't exit these trades until the price breaks above the 20. And the reason is, as we can see here, we got an engulfing. But you don't want to exit there because you haven't hit your stop loss or the 20. We come down here and we get a little bit of consolidation here right into that 20 and then look, rejection. So if your stop loss is at this bar's low here, boom, you're going to get stopped at the next candle right here. But if your stop loss is moved from here to the 20 after it starts to trend, then you can catch the second part of this move, the real expansion part of this move. Once price breaks above this 20, that's when we could see the child start to return to the parent. So this could start doing this. And then this could come in. And then we could get a narrow state again. And then once the narrow state happens, we look for the expansion and the momentum move of the child leaving the parent. Right? So this is the state I wanted to show you guys. This is the wide state of price. This is the narrow state of price. We want to catch moves coming from the narrow state going into the wide state. Once it gets to a wide state, it's going to break the 20. Once it breaks the 20, price enters what's called a trap zone. So once we get in here, we could chop around, go up, down, chop around slowly, and you don't want to be in that. You don't want to be in that price action. We want a momentum move, right? We want a 20 to be there and be used as a ceiling that pushes price down. And then once that ceiling is broke, boom. Now that child could return to the parent. And we don't want a part of that until we get the narrow state again. Once we get this, then we wait on a possible move back down or a break above, boom, and a long play. So this is an example of a great trade coming from a narrow state, creating a wide state, then breaking that 20. Right there. This is a great example of that. When you see price in a wide state, that's usually the case. It's usually a retracement in price. The 20's coming back to the 200. We don't want to be in that. We want to wait for a narrow state and then an entry out of the narrow state. Right? So let me show you guys another quick example here. On the narrow state, I'm sorry, 1 second. Boom, boom. Switching screens. Okay, boom. This is AMD here. Same thing. Same thing, really. You have the price action here. See how we're narrow? We're close together. All of this is close together. It's real tight. All of this is tighter, right? Once we start trending down, that's when you start to look for color change entry events to the downside, right? And you can break, but that's not our goal here. Our goal, we're talking about states here. So once we get into this wide state that you can see, price starts to break that 20 and get into this trap zone. And eventually it's going to come back and give us another narrow state in the SMAs, right? So this is just another example of the 20 holding price down. So if you enter up here, your stop loss doesn't go here, then here, then here, then here, and then you're out. It goes to this 20. It goes to the 20. That's your stop loss. That's the ceiling, right? Then once you get wide, you're going to break that ceiling. You don't want to be in it anyways because you know the child's coming back to the parent. That makes sense. So this is just a couple examples today of decent trades and price action showing you a break of the 20 in a wide state, entering that trap zone, and then the child returning back to the parent. I just wanted to show you guys a couple examples of those. That's what we look for. We want trades coming from narrow positions. That's it. If our 200, if our blue line here looks like this, and our 20's like this, and we got price like this, I'm not taking a trade. I need more like this. If this is price action here, that's price action. The 200 needs to be like this. And the 20 can be kind of, maybe down a little bit, kind of up, kind of maybe a little right there. Boom. And then I need a move of the 20. And the 200 will slowly start to follow. And then right when you get a move like this, boom, you enter. And we ride this up. Boom. and then the states become wide, and we sell up here, and then they re-enter again, boom, and then it happens all over again. That's the gist of it. So just wanted to give you guys some examples of the narrow state and then coming into the wide state. So if you have any questions, just let me know.